27-0, 6-0 in SEC play, and just a quick reminder to everyone that the lone undefeated team in college softball is indeed the back-to-back national champs. No big deal, just doing my part here. But it's back on the road in the SEC this weekend. The Sooners won 3 at Arkansas last week and will hit the road this weekend against an old Big 12 foe as OU travels to Missouri for a 3-game set. And let's hope for the first time this year in SEC play, OU won't have to move a game due to weather, and we can play on Friday, Saturday, and yes, on Sunday as well. What's the number one thing you want to see this weekend? Drop it in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. OU softball, SEC softball, it's what we do here. Come join the fun, especially in the comment section. All right, let's take a look at the weekend schedule. Friday night's game is set for 5 p.m. It will be on SEC Network Plus. The forecast looks like this. High in the mid-60s with a slight chance of a rain shower. Ticket prices, if you're trying to make it to Columbia, are a little bit cheaper than they were in Fayetteville, but it's still going to be a packed house this weekend for this series between Oklahoma and Missouri, especially on Friday nights. Saturday is slated for a 2 p.m. start. Again, that's on SEC Network Plus. High again in the mid-60s. But plenty of sunshine, which is a very, very good thing. We'll take that over the rain and the wind that we've seen over the past couple of weekends. OU and Mizzou looks like they should be good as of right now to get that game in on Friday and to get that game in on Saturday as well. The only one in question would be Sunday for the high noon start, again on SEC Network Plus. That's where all the games will be at this weekend. Currently a 70% chance of rain, and also a very windy day in Columbia. So maybe a doubleheader on Saturday. Maybe that could be in the cards. We'll find out later this week. We'll wait and see on that one. But if there's a game this week that seems to be in jeopardy weather-wise, it looks like it would be the Sunday finale, which is currently set for high noon. Okay, let's take a closer look at Missouri. 17-13 overall in the season. No other way to say it. Tough start for the Tigers up to this point. I thought this team would have a better record through the first 30 games of the season. I didn't think that they'd be leading in the SEC or even top 3 in the SEC, but I certainly didn't see them 17-13 through their first 30 games. However, with that record, it is very fair to point out that they've played a really, really tough schedule up to this point. One of the toughest schedules in the country, maybe the toughest schedule in the country thus far. Mizzou has played Duke. They played Florida State. They played UCLA. They've played Oregon. They've played Oklahoma State. They've played Nebraska. They played Kentucky in conference play. You can definitely say this about Missouri. They are battle-tested up to this point. I don't think that they faced a team like Oklahoma so far this season, but they faced a lot of top 25, top 15 teams. So it's not like this is their first big test of the year. Far from it, actually. And I would say that their best wins to this point, they do have some wins in that tough schedule. Best wins up to this point, probably Duke, Clemson, or Nebraska. Take your pick out of the 3 there. But obviously, their biggest test coming at home this weekend against number 1 Oklahoma. So what's the overall strength for this Missouri team? I would probably say the offense, even though the numbers don't just jump out at you. Missouri just doesn't have a lot of numbers right now that rank high in the country or in the SEC. Mizzou is hitting .282 as a team. That ranks 14th in the SEC. So I think we got to be a little bit honest here. The numbers are not impressive for Missouri. Now, maybe that's because they've played such a difficult schedule. Maybe it's because they're not nearly as good as they were a year ago. Maybe it's a combination of both. But there's not a lot of super impressive numbers with this team. 14th in batting average, last in the SEC in ERA with a 3.45 mark. Defensively, maybe this is their strong suit. The Tigers are 10th in the SEC with a .969 fielding percentage up to this point. This is a Mizzou team that currently has the worst overall record in the SEC, and the numbers certainly reflect that up to this point. But hey, it's also a conference road series. You've got to take this seriously if you're Oklahoma. Do not sleepwalk because the overall numbers aren't great for this team, but they still have some individual players who can hurt you, such as Madison Walker, and I'd say that she is the player to watch this weekend for Missouri. She's second in the SEC with 12 home runs and just outside the top 10 in RBIs with 33. If they have a hitter in this order that's going to consistently hurt you this weekend, I would say it's Madison Walker with her ability to hit the long ball. Also, keep an eye on Julia Crenshaw. She's 8th in the SEC in runs scored and third in doubles. So no, again, not impressive overall team numbers, but Missouri still has a couple of hitters there at the top, middle of the order who can really hurt you if you don't take care of your stuff this weekend. In the circle, it's Marissa McCann and Sierra Harrison. That's Missouri's 1-2 combo. McCann is 7-4 on the season with a 3.08 ERA. She's pitched the fourth most innings so far in the SEC, 77 and a third innings. And then you got Harrison, who is 6-4 on the season with a 4.25 ERA. So look, here's the deal. Never take a series for granted and just think that all we got to do is show up and it's an easy sweep. This program has never done that before, and let's start now. But the numbers for OU and Missouri really aren't close in any regard. Again, I thought Missouri would be better after they came a game away last year from making the Women's College World Series, but they're really going to have to hustle up if they even hope to make it to the postseason this year. I know that, you know that, they know that, so this is their opportunity for a big get-right weekend to get them in the right direction. You better show up, take this thing seriously, get ready to play your best softball because Missouri is looking at this weekend as a get-right opportunity to get back on the road to a regional. You've got to take care of business against a team that's probably going to play their best softball of the entire year. And on that, as we get to keys to a series victory, what's your number one key to a series victory? Drop it in the comments. My number one key is very simple. Don't overlook this weekend. Don't do it. By the numbers and by the record, Missouri is not a great softball team. I would have them at 15 right now in an SEC power poll. But that doesn't matter. Don't play down to your competition and expect that whatever they've looked like so far this year, understand that you're not going to see that team. You're going to see their best. Oklahoma does not see the same opponent that everybody else in the SEC or everybody else in college softball sees. Count on that happening. Be ready to play your best softball. And play your best softball to beat Missouri, yes, but play your best softball to play your best softball. The great teams don't look great just when it's convenient. Be a better team leaving Columbia than when you arrive. That would be my number one overall key to anything is, yes, it's probably one of the weaker opponents that you're going to face this weekend. It's not just going to be a gimme, easy 3-game sweep, but let's talk about how much this team looks like they've gotten better since the last time we saw them in conference play in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Second biggest key to me is the pitching. Look, I am in the camp that is not panicking. I don't know why you would panic. I'm far from it. They're undefeated. They've got the best record in the SEC. Why would you panic? But at the same time, it is fair to say that we want to see more from the starting pitchers not named Sam Landry. So I'm going to be very interested to see Isabella Smith and Kirsten Deal this weekend and what they do. Hopefully, Audrey Lowry is back. That would be big. But you can't just rely on Sam Landry to save you in every single game. We all know that. Now, the good news here is that I've seen and we've seen every single one of these arms be very good in an OU uniform. And that even includes the newcomers. That also includes KD, but she needs to get going this weekend. I feel like this is a very important weekend for her. She needs to start attacking hitters early, getting ahead in the strike zone, and I absolutely think that she's capable of doing that. I've seen her do that in her OU career. She's just got to get going because this team really needs her. It's not a great hitting Mizzou team, but again, there's enough talent to hurt you if you don't locate and if you get behind in counts. Take the fight to the Missouri hitters. Have the best weekend pitching-wise that you've had so far in the SEC. My third biggest key is Ella Parker. Teams just won't pitch to her, and I can't necessarily say that I blame them. What's crazy, though, is she only has one hit so far in SEC play. One hit, and that was in this Sunday game against Arkansas. Imagine saying that Ella Parker, forget SEC games, imagine saying that Ella Parker would only have one hit in 6 games after what she did the first 3 weeks of the season. It would have been insane to even think that as a possibility. I do think at some point, teams will start pitching to her more, and I think that she's going to revert back to form. But OU is 6-0 in the SEC with their biggest hitter having a very minimal impact in terms of just overall hits up to this point. So what does the offense look like when she's hitting well? It's looked great kind of without her hitting balls over the fence the past couple of weeks. What does this offense look like when she's really rolling? Let's find out this weekend. I want to find out this weekend. I can't guarantee that Missouri won't walk her every single at-bat, but if they give Ella Parker some pitches to hit, I want to see her get after it because this offense has been good, but if she gets going this weekend, Missouri doesn't stand a chance. MVP of the week, you guys know what to do. Drop your submissions below, and you know what? I'm going to do it. I just talked about her. It just got me really excited thinking about what this already powerful offense will look like when Ella Parker gets going again. Yeah, let's do it. We see it this weekend. Ella Parker hits 2 home runs on the weekend, maybe even more, has her best weekend at the plate in SEC play. You can only keep a great hitter down for so long. Well, here's what's going to happen. She's going to get hot this weekend. And yes, I want to pick Gabby Garcia because that feels like an automatic 3 home run weekend. And I'm sure I'll see a lot of Gabby Garcia submissions in the comment section, which I obviously welcome as well. She currently leads the team in home runs. But I'm going to pick Ella Parker, who gets pitches to hit this weekend. She's going to get pitches to hit out over the plate. Missouri makes a very, very bad decision, trying their luck with number 5. Ella is about to get hot, and she's going to be MVP of the weekend in OU's 3rd SEC series. Series predictions. Well, I'll tell you what I'm not trying to do this weekend. I'm not trying to put on the clown nose this weekend. That was embarrassing. So let's completely avoid that. Let's avoid wearing the clown nose on Sunday and get to game 1 on Friday. And I just want to see OU set the tone with this series. Come out ready to play. And I want them to set it early in game 1. They know you're the champs. Everyone knows that you're the champs. But show them what they're in for all weekend long in the very early stages of game 1. Jump out early, make that statement. I'm not even necessarily asking for a 5-inning run roll, though I will take that if it's on the table. Sooners start hot, offense looks good, and we start off the weekend with a big win. Sooners win game 1 of the series 10-2. Behind another great offensive performance. Game 2 on Saturday, and I don't think every game this weekend is going to be an absolute blowout. I think Missouri is going to show up and fight. Their opportunity to kind of turn around their season a little bit. It's a huge opportunity for them, but I just think OU is too much and playing too well right now. I'm feeling a much closer game on Saturday, but the Sooners pull away when they need to. Why? Because of an Ella Parker home run. There's another prediction for you. OU wins game 2, moves to 8-0 in the SEC with a 6-3 win over the Missouri Tigers, and they clinch another series win on Saturday. The Sunday finale, unless we play on Saturday, I guess we'll find out with the weather. Sooners have been good on Sunday. Heck, they've been good every single day of the week thus far. Interested in who will start in each of these games? But you could definitely see a situation where you've really taxed Missouri's pitching staff by the 3rd game of this series. I know Arkansas felt that, and that's the danger of OU's offense. You know, they're always capable of hanging a crooked number, and when they do, you're done. You're essentially out of the game. OU's going to hang a crooked number on Sunday, maybe even 2. Sooners win 11-5 in the finale to sweep Missouri. They leave Columbia 9-0 in the SEC, and their 3rd consecutive series sweep in the SEC. Isabella Emerling joined us at the ref via our partnership with One Oklahoma. She was on the Plank Show, actually, and I'm going to share a few clips. First, she obviously had expectations for what things would be like playing for OU coming from North Carolina. So has this season met her expectations as to what it was going to be like playing for Oklahoma?
I think it has. I think I knew going into it that we were always going to be able to put up a fight. We are very relentless, and I think it's met my expectations at least. I don't know about everyone else's, but it's just been fun to see this team grow and really just trust one another, and it's been super fun. And obviously sweeps are great, but it's just cool to see everyone grow and become more confident in themselves. And yeah.
Wherever the Sooners go, the crowds follow. We all know that as fans, but that's new for these newcomers, including Isabella Emerling, and this is what her experience has been like with that thus far.
I've never played in crowds as big as I have this year at Love's and then this time in Arkansas. But it's amazing just to have the fans support and seeing them there. It gives us confidence as a team as well. And it's so amazing just seeing people cheer, even in the back stands of Bowl Park, and they're all in the field by the Kona ice truck. And it's just amazing to see their smiles and hear them cheer whenever we score. And I know it means the world for us and for me and my teammates. And it's just amazing. It's so cool because I never experienced a crowd of that size or anything before.
But with that, as cool as it's been, there was an adjustment.
It definitely has. I think I felt it for the first time in our opener against South Carolina. I was used to it in the fall, but then everything is just more intense in the spring. But it wasn't as what I expected. I didn't think I would feel it as much as I did. So it was definitely an adjustment, but a good one. It's just so crazy to play in front of that many people supporting you, wearing all crimson. And it's just a good feeling to know that the sport has progressed and people care about it and genuinely care how you're doing and how you progress as an athlete.
It's a team. They're a team, and with a whole lot of chemistry, I might add. And it's pretty cool hearing Bella Emmerling talk about it.
Yeah, I think we've spoken about this in the fall as a team, what are going to be inhibiting factors for our success. And I know chemistry was a concern for some people, but honestly, I didn't think it was going to be a top concern.
Good.
I think everyone has meshed well together just because we all want the same thing out of this. We all are trying to achieve a common goal, and it's been amazing to get to know some of these girls. And I think just all the newness, we had no other choice. If we want to accomplish this thing and we want to be great and have greatness, we're all going to need to bond with one another and really get to know one another and be just supportive and want each other's success more than our own. And I think we do a good job of that as a team. You can see us cheer for one another, and I feel I just get so happy when my teammates do good, or it's we know they've been struggling and then they finally pull out of something, and then we just all go crazy on the bench. But I think that's one of the biggest things is just wanting each other's success more than our own and wanting the team to succeed more than ourselves, our personal selves. And yeah, I don't think it's been as hard as everyone thought it was going to be, and I kind of knew that. I think coming from a background where I've been on teams where we weren't as cohesive and there wasn't that solid foundation and chemistry, that I knew it was going to be okay. As soon as I first met these group of girls, I knew it was going to be okay, just because everyone is so locked in and bought in, and it's great.
What was Bella's process picking Oklahoma via the transfer portal? Well, it seems like one phone call really sealed the deal for OU.
I got some pretty good schools in the mix, and I'm just watching the World Series going on, and then I get a call from Coach Fale, because she's Coach Steele now, but in my phone she was Coach Fale because she coached at UNC. And I was like, Mom, look who's calling me right now. I don't think this is real. They're about to play on TV. Why is she calling me? But as soon as I saw her name on my phone, I was like, oh, it's a done deal. I'm going to be a Sooner. So it was just very surreal. And just, got to talking to JT over the phone and then Coach Gasso. And I'm like, I can't believe I have Patty Gasso's number in my phone right now. But yeah, so just after talking to them, and then they were my last visit, actually. But as soon as I got on campus, I was like, oh, this is a done deal. I'm meant to be here.
Last one, here's Bella talking about Sam Landry and the incredible start to the season she's had up to this point.
She's so great. I just love catching her every time. I feel like we just have this kind of connection sometimes. And I'm just like, oh, she's on it. No one's going to touch her ball today. It's just so fun catching her, and she just has that kind of moxie mojo to her, and it's just amazing.
All right, let's get to the GOAT, Patty Gasso. She spoke to the media on Wednesday night. First, here's Patty with an update on Audrey Lowry heading into the weekend.
Yeah, we're just kind of taking it slow with her and just making sure she's healthy. We're getting there. She might see her this weekend, but their pitching staff had conversation with Coach Rocha, and she challenged them, and this is what we saw.
Here was Patty on her team's win on Wednesday night over East Texas A&M.
Very efficient, good game, got everybody in for the most part. A lot of new players got opportunities. We got some people off their feet. I thought our pitching staff did a great job of response. I think Coach Rocha called the pitching staff out a little bit, and they answered the call for sure. So that was wonderful. And just sent hard hit balls. Some probably could have gone, but I just appreciate East Texas coming out and going through this weather with us. And most teams would say no thank you, but they're ballers, they're gamers, and I appreciate that. So we really wanted to play tonight.
Big series coming up at Missouri this weekend. Here's Patty Gasso talking about the upcoming series against the Missouri Tigers.
They're always tough. We've always had them in postseason and so forth. So they're very well coached, very well coached.
Another SEC weekend is upon us. Here's what the standings look like right now. Oklahoma all alone in first place, 6-0 in the SEC. LSU, the only other undefeated team in the league right now. They are 3-0 after a series sweep against Kentucky. Mississippi State with a nice start. They're at 5-1. They look good. Texas A&M lost the series to Florida in the first weekend of conference play, but they bounced back with the road sweep at Auburn last weekend. Texas at 2-1. A very, very impressive road series win at Florida, and you kind of see the rest of the conference there. So this weekend will match up the number one team in the SEC right now in Oklahoma, and then you see Missouri at 0-3 so far in the conference, all the way down at number 15. A lot of teams kind of jumbled there in the middle. We got a lot of softball left to play. Some teams have only played 3 games in conference play up to this point. But here's an early look at where things sit in the standings. But again, we've got a long way to go. The good news is that Oklahoma is already out in front of the pack. They still got big series coming up against Tennessee. They got big series coming up against Florida, against Texas. Heck, Mississippi State, a very good team as well. It seems like every single SEC series is a big weekend, but Oklahoma has done themselves a lot of favors and will continue to do themselves a lot of favors if they sweep Missouri and getting to that final weekend with a chance to win the SEC. All right, some quick SEC series predictions this weekend. Let's start with 22nd ranked Auburn going to Texas this weekend for a 3-game set. Horns, again, just looked very impressive. Their first ever SEC series was a road win at Florida. I know Auburn's done some very nice things this year. S.J. Guerin leads the SEC in innings pitched this far. She's going to have a great weekend. Give me Texas in a 3-game sweep over Auburn in Austin. LSU at Georgia, probably the most intriguing SEC series of the entire weekend. Georgia lost 2 of 3 at South Carolina last weekend, but still a top 15 team, still a very good team. LSU now in the top 5, only other undefeated team in the SEC outside of Oklahoma. I like this LSU team a lot. They've got some young pieces to their team, but very good. Give me LSU to go on the road to Athens, Georgia. They don't sweep, they don't stay undefeated, but they'll take 2 of 3, and the Tigers will certainly take that as they stay near the top in the SEC standings. Alabama at Texas A&M, just not a great start thus far for the Alabama Crimson Tide, but still a team to keep an eye on as we move forward in SEC play. I thought A&M was good before the year, still think Texas A&M is very good. Give me the Aggies in a 3-game sweep in College Station against the Crimson Tide. Ole Miss at Kentucky. Rebels looked really good against Arkansas a couple of weekends ago, taking 2 of 3 from that series. Kentucky swept Missouri earlier in the year, then got swept at LSU. Interesting matchup here. Give me Kentucky to take 2 of 3 at home against Ole Miss. And lastly, Arkansas at Tennessee. Man, I still think this Razorback team is a very good team that can hit the ball a ton. Just a tough start thus far. 1-5 in SEC play. We'll see Tennessee coming up next weekend, which should be a very, very fun home series. But hey, Tennessee, they're at home. I think they're better than Arkansas, though I think the Razorbacks are good. Tennessee doesn't sweep, but they take 2 of 3 from Arkansas in Knoxville. So keep those comments coming. Keep liking the video. Keep subscribing to the channel. We've seen an incredible amount of growth, and I say thank you to each and every one of you. Enjoy the softball this weekend. Enjoy spring break. We'll talk to you after every single game this weekend. As always, thank you for watching.